Hello folks, this is Lucia doing a taste of country. I've got a very special guest here beside me, Philomena Begley. Philomena, welcome.
Thank you very much, Lucia. It's nice to see you.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you. And of course, now that you're doing 50 years, you're 50 years on the road, Philomena.
I am indeed, and it doesn't really seem like 50. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it seems like 100, and sometimes it doesn't seem. It doesn't seem too long at all. I just noticed you, Lucia, you have a very bad throat. Were you singing?
No, I do have a bad chest and throat, but that's why I have to start with a big apology to all the listeners. Hopefully this noise won't be too much, Philomena. Philomena, I know you're from County Tyrone. You were born in Tyrone?
That's right. I was born in Pomeroy, County Tyrone. It's a little village, and I went to school there. I only went to the primary school, and I left the primary school when I was 15 years of age, and I went to work in a hat factory.
Oh my goodness, That's only a few years ago, sure.
Oh, it is.
But seriously, you started singing when I was a little toddler.
Well, I started singing, I was actually 20 when I started singing, so I wasn't really that. Everybody thinks that I'm an awful lot older, that I was very young when I when I started singing.
Yeah, but when you started your singing career, I was this is Aidan just entering, Philomena's son entering the room here. When you started singing, I was very, very young myself, and I always remembered you when we were young. You were a great inspiration to us.
Well, there's a few girls have said that to me, all right, and some of the boys too, but I don't know really. I don't know what it was like really. I started off, I didn't even really plan to sing. It wasn't an ambition of mine. I thought I would love to have been a nurse, but that's as far as it got.
Well, I know you've got 3 children, and we have one of them enter the room here, Aidan Quinn, and I know you have 3. Do any of the other 2 and do any singing?
I have 2 girls. No, they didn't bother with the singing at all. Aidan's the only one that took an interest in the music business.
And he's good, isn't he?
He's very good, yes. Well, we have to say that now that he's standing behind us here.
Oh, Aidan, can you let go of my arm? Oh, no, sorry, that wasn't Aidan. What else was I going to say? You've done a lot of singing with Ray Lynham as well?
That's right. I started recording in 1972, was the first album we done. And then I did another one in 73 and another one in the 80s. So I also recorded an album with Mick Flavin, and I did one with Margot too.
That's very, very good. And of course, the one that a very good friend of yours, of course, was our Billy Joe.
Ah, poor Billy Joe. Yeah, well, Billy Joe, I worked with her for 5 years, and just 5 years in a row we did tours. We toured together, toured 4 in England or 4 in Ireland, and last year we did England and Scotland, and we did that in May, and she died in December.
Well, I do remember you down in County Wexford. Myself, I was down there with Nathan Carter and the Ladies of Country. What a night that was in White's Hotel in Wexford.
That's right. Oh, she was unbelievable. In fact, that time that she was down there, she was very ill. Actually, she was in her bed for a couple of days, but she got up at night and she went out and did her show. We had to get the doctor for her and medication and stuff like that. So she hasn't been well for quite some time. So.
And here's me thinking you only stayed in Wexford because I came from there and you enjoyed it. But yeah, and of course this song that the 2 of you recorded, Blanket on the Ground.
That's the one we recorded. She recorded in 1975, but I heard it coming home one night from a gig, and the manager at the time, Tony Lockman, sent over to America for it, and we got it over. I recorded and had a big hit with it in Ireland. I
believe yours went to number 3. I think Billy Joe's was at number 8 or 9 in America.
No, mine went to the top, and Billy Joe's. Well, see, I had mine out first. You see, I had a wee bit. Was a step ahead of her. And going back there to the time that poor Billy Joe passed away. I mean, we played a lot the song that you recorded and Shuni Crampsey wrote. Very good song. It was a great song. Shuni rang me the day after she died. And he said to me that because he had been to see myself and Billy Joe in Derry, and he said he was very impressed, and he knew there was a bond between the 2 of us whenever he seen us working together. So he said that he wrote this song. So he sang a bit of it over the phone to me, and I couldn't believe it. It was just everything that I would have been thinking myself.
Because you were very good friends, and you could see that when I saw the two of you in Wexford. And it's a great song. We do play it a lot on Irish Country Music Radio. So well done on that one. You've got a lot of albums, haven't you?
Well, do you know something? You'd hardly believe it, but I never really stopped to count them all now. But I must be up on 20 or 30. I'm not too sure.
Sorry. Really sorry.
We have a shower going on in the background there, and sorry, you just threw me there. Sorry, Philomena, would just repeat that about the albums again. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was just saying there that I didn't really count them. I wouldn't know exactly how many I'd be. I suppose in around the 30 mark, I would imagine.
But to be honest, when we were young, my sister and brother used to stand up on the stool and then up on the table when Mammy and Daddy wasn't there, of course, and they had the sweeping brush and a hairbrush, singing Ray Lynham and Philomena Begley.
The hairbrush was always a good one for practicing the singing. I think nearly every young person, girls and boys, I think all sang in front of the mirror with the hairbrush.
Philomena, do you know when you were growing up yourself, who would have been your inspiration?
Well, you see, I wasn't really into country music because I didn't ever heard it before until I was started with the band, the Old Cross Kelly band at the time, and I would have been doing just the old traditional songs, the traditional Irish songs, and the ones that would have been big at the time, the old bog roads and stuff like that.
Really?
The stuff like that, surely. But then, a couple of years after I got into the band, there was a guy, Michael McNally, and he was very much into Hank Williams. So he had some Hank Williams songs. So he gave me a couple of albums to listen to. So that's really where I got. Would have been the first country songs that I would have heard. But then later on, I got to went to some record shops, and we got Kitty Wells. She would have been one of the big inspiration, and so would Patsy Cline. Oh,
one of my favourites, Patsy Cline.
Patsy Cline and Kitty Wells, and then Jean Shepherd and Loretta Lynn and Tammy, and then from there on just we got into
Dolly.
And Dolly.
And you know, you're known as the Queen of Country. I would agree with that 100%, Philomena.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. It was actually a fella that was managing us at the time that put that title on me, and it stuck with me that's many years ago. So, and that's what I've been getting. I don't know. It must be maybe 40 years ago.
Well, I would agree with it, and I don't think anyone can steal that title from you, the Queen of Country. I know you have been to America. You go to America every year, do you, Philomena, and sing in the Grand Ole Opry?
Well, I have been over there way back years ago. I used to go over more often. It's about 3 years ago since I was out there now. And but I would plan to go out. We're hoping now maybe later on that Billy Joe might put her into the Hall of Fame, and if they do that, I'll certainly make an effort to go out to it.
Well, I think you will be invited out to that, I'm sure, and I think it should happen for Billy Joe, the Hall of Fame. Would you have recorded any songs with any of those American artists along your way?
Not really, no. There's only just one song that myself and Margot that recorded that we did. I can't even remember the name of it, but the girls were all involved in it. Skeeter Davis and Jeannie Pruitt, Jean Shepherd. Who else was there? There was Jeannie Seeley, Leona Williams, but they were all it was just a one-off thing, but they weren't really singing, if you know what I mean. They were just in the background.
Were they all sitting around in a group, and would that be on YouTube? Because I remember seeing
there would
something.
Yeah, there would be. They were standing in a circle.
Very good. And you're doing a tour. I know you're in the UK doing your 50 years. We're here in Trent Park now tonight, and Brendan is the manager up here, and it's a fabulous place for family to come and have something to eat, and then have some wonderful entertainment and big bands like yourself, of course, Philomena.
Well, this is my first time here. I have never been here before, but with the Galtymore closed down now, it's just good to see somewhere else opening up. And I see right enough I did. I was in early the day. By the sound of that there, England must have scored.
There's a good old crowd here, and they're all looking to have seen that lovely banner, that lovely what do we call it, the backdrop, or
Uh-huh.
it's absolutely beautiful. So well done. You're looking very well, Philomena.
Thank
Absolutely stunning, I'm telling you. She looks as young as myself.
Thank you very much, Lucia.
You're doing a tour, Philomena, to Spain, is it? Or Portugal?
I am indeed. I'm doing a tour starting on the 16th of September till the 23rd, and I'm going over there. I'm taking some friends over with me, and anybody would like to book it. I think there's I'm not too sure of the number now, but maybe if you look up the Facebook or some of them.
It is on Facebook. In fact, I put it on Facebook myself. I would share it. The website, Philomena. You do have a website, do you? Philomena Begley.
Philomena Begley.com, something like that.
I'm sure. So if you want to buy any albums, folks, or anything, just go on to Philomena's website there. You will see it. And she has a Facebook, as she says. Philomena, another question. I hope the listeners can understand my croaky voice. Would you have penned any songs yourself?
No, not one.
No.
But I would love to do something. But I probably, if I sat down and thought about it, and somebody was with me to get, to start me off, but I could go in on it then. But I couldn't have any. What's the word I'm looking for? Inspiration. I wouldn't have the patience.
Would I inspire you? If I was sitting beside you, would you think I've penned a couple of songs myself? In fact, 2 weeks ago, I've just penned A Friend Like You, it's called. And I've got two songs on YouTube there. So one, my partner passed away, and the other one was when my dad passed away. I just penned it 7 hours before he died. So maybe you'll have a listen to those.
Oh God, I will surely. I'm just going to have to. I'm going to have to get myself. I have to. I don't know how to get into the computer at all. I can't even turn it on. But whenever I go back now, I'm going to just concentrate and try and get, even if I could get into the website or.
Do you know what I think would be a lovely song to come from yourself? Something like the story from when you started singing all the way up for your 50 years. Be a lovely song. No pressure, but I think it would be a lovely song.
It would be a lovely song, but there'd be a serious verses in it.
Well, we do all the good verses. We'd have to cut it. How can we cut down 50 years into one song?
Into one song. It would be a long one, all right. But I suppose you could, if you thought about it, and you would need to think of it. But really, I have been writing me things down at the minute now for, people. There's a few people is on to me to be writing a book. And I'm trying to, when things come into my head, I just write them down. I would need one of these things. You
need a dictaphone, which I was just going to say that. But believe me, maybe Aidan and yourself can write one.
Well, Aidan has a dictaphone, but I don't see him using it too often. But if I could maybe borrow it off him or I'd rather get one of my own, because he'd be only going into mine.
And Philomena, has he penned any songs himself, Aidan? I know he's going to perform tonight. I'm looking forward to that. And the band and yourself. So
no, he hasn't penned anything as yet now. But I would say he could, because he would be that way inclined, if you know what I mean.
Great talent like yourself. It's got to come from somewhere.
Well, I wouldn't say that the talent, but Aidan was interested in the music from. He actually this morning he said to me, "Mummy, why did you ever send me to school? That was a waste of time," he says, taking me to school.
Really?
And he swears to this day that we should have not have taken him to school.
All right, well then maybe he's right. But Philomena, just the last question I'm going to throw at you. What's your plans for the future? Do you plan, you're 50 years on the road now, are you just going to truck on or?
Well, with a bit of luck and a good health, that's what I intend doing. I don't intend. Everybody thinks. Actually, I was asked last night, "Is it true that you're retiring after this year?" I said, "Not a chance. Whatever, I'll go on as long as my health sucks."
Oh, Philomena, that is great news, because I wouldn't have asked you that question, because I can see a bigger future for you, because it's been really big. Yeah, honestly. So, long may it continue. And is there anything else you'd like to say before I finish up?
I'd just like to thank everybody that supported me over the 50 years. And I know I can't really say I hope to see you for the next 50, because you definitely wouldn't want to see that. But I would like to think that I would be able to go on and go out there, because I enjoy what I do. I love it. And probably if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it. Exactly. And once again, thank everybody that has supported me over the years.
But we do have listeners on Irish Country Music Radio all over the world, Philomena, and they do request your music.
Thank you very much, Lucia. That's great.
Well, and we will continue playing it to them as well. So after this interview, guys, if you want to go on to Philomena's page, she is on Facebook, Philomena Begley. Go on and tell her that you heard this interview that's taking place up at Trent Park Golf Club in Southgate. So
thank you very much, Lucia, and thanks to everybody for listening in.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. And as I said, this is an interview with Philomena Begley, celebrating 50 years on the road. A long may it continue, Philomena.
Thank you very much, Lucia.
Okay, listeners, I hope you all enjoyed the interview in spite of my croaky voice. Thanks a million. God bless.